Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics. This video, we're taking a look at the Hilux Micromax B-Dot red dot sight. In today's market, there's a lot of budget optics out there. So if you're looking for a red dot sight, what do you choose? There's just so many choices out there, you don't really know what to go for. Pretty much the industry standards are optics such as those from Aimpoint, those from Trijicon, and used to be those from EOTech. If they ever get their zeroing thing figured out, hopefully they'll regain their place as a quality optic. When it comes to budget optics, optics that are not going to break the bank, if you don't have a lot of money, you want to get a red dot sight, but you want something that's going to be dependable, because if you're going to spend money on it, you want it to work. What do you choose? Well, Hilux offers this Micromax B-Dot. The name's a little long, but the optic comes in right in there. MSRP is just over $200, but you can find them on Optics Plan, Amazon, stuff like that for about $199, maybe a little less. But of course the question is, if it's that inexpensive, is it cheap? Because they're two different things. Is an optic that costs that little money when compared to the big dogs gonna be durable and reliable? Well, I got my hands on one of these and I decided to, well, beat the hell out of it. I wanted to be realistic, but the biggest things that are going to happen to an optic that are going to cause it to fail are going to be zero shift when it's dropped, or, as EOTech found out and has now had to admit, temperature changes. Is an extreme temperature change going to cause a zero shift or going to cause any kind of functionality issues with the optic itself? It's not something that most people think about, but it is something that can occur. So with the Micromax B-Dot, I wanted to just basically check it out and see how durable it was going to be in compared to what you would realistically expect your optic to be able to handle. Now for technical specifications, and I'll put them up on the screen as well, we've got a battery-powered red dot sight adjustable. It's a 2 MOA dot, half MOA adjustments for zeroing. Battery life is quoted at 55,000 hours. That's little over 6 years. Now, obviously I haven't had this thing for 6 years. I've had it for a month and a half, and it's been on the whole time on maximum brightness, except when I was out shooting. I'd obviously tone it down as needed, but as soon as I got done shooting, it went right back to maximum brightness because I wanted to see if it could kill the battery. If someone quotes me 55,000 hours, I'm a little like, okay, that could be possible, but I want to see how true it is. Obviously, even if it's half that, I wouldn't have killed the battery in the process, but even half that, 3 years, is an incredible battery life. So this is an optic that you can turn on and leave on, which I like a lot. Optics are getting to the point where they just work just like iron sights. They're always there. As far as 55,000 hours goes, eventually the battery is going to die, so you have to come up with some kind of replacement procedure. Me, I change batteries on my birthday or every other birthday just so I remember. Some people set a reminder in their phone for years ahead or whatever. Hopefully you still have the same phone. As far as other features go, it does not come with a mount, but they offer a very inexpensive mount. Now, the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to this optic is where it's made. It is made in China. That's going to be a big deal for some people. But I'm not one of those people that believes that just because something's not made in America doesn't mean it can't be a quality product. You look at Aimpoint, it's made in Europe, but Aimpoint's one of the big ones. Can something made in China be reliable and durable? Well, I don't believe that only people in America know how to build things well. We build things the best because we're Americans. However, it's entirely possible for someone whose nationality is from a different country to be able to build a quality product. So getting into this, just the initial features. We've got removable lens caps. You'll notice there's only one on the back. The one on the front is permanently broken. I'll get to that. And then we've got your basic adjustments, on and off, up and down. It is programmable for an auto off if you're worried about, being really frugal with that 6-year battery life. You can go ahead and program it to turn off after so many hours. Adjustments are pretty straightforward. Captured caps, which is nice. You get a little cord there so you won't lose it, and it's got a slot there so you can make adjustments, and it is graduated on the inside so you know which way's up, which way's down. Battery goes in there, no big deal. I like it because it's ambidextrous. I can adjust it with the support or the primary hand depending on how I want to do things. The dot's really clean, no real blooming issues. Even on maximum brightness, it kind of starbursts a little bit when you look right through it to where you're supposed to be looking at what you want to hit. It cleans up multiple settings, which is nice. You can fine tune it. You're not offered 6 or 8. You've got even more than that up and down. And then as far as the objective lens goes, I didn't feel like you really get a huge tunnel vision effect from it. The objective is a little small. I've been spending a lot of time on the Trijicon MRO, so that's probably why I experienced that. I'm used to that wider field of vision I get from that optic. But not unlike a lot of other red dot sights that are out there, it's going to give you what you need as far as objective view, your dot's adjustments, your ability to fine tune so you can shoot in multiple lighting conditions. So my biggest concern with any optic is going to be durability and its ability to maintain its zero in reference to durability. If I drop it, is it going to lose zero, or is it going to lose zero to a significant degree that if I have to use it in an emergency situation or just out on the range, my zero is going to be completely off. I'm going to have to lock down and re-zero the gun. So first thing I did was zero it and shoot a 5-round control group. Once I had the control group on the gun, or I should say on the optic, I just basically incorporated it in, with my rifle into my normal practice. Cheek weld in relation to the dot, not an issue. It's right where it needs to be. I've seen some other budget optics that are, to me anyway, slightly too low or slightly too high. So when I come up on the gun, I feel like I have to kind of just make a micro adjustment on my cheek placement in order to find the dot. Now it's near parallax free, so even if the dot's not centered, as long as the dot's on the target, if you just get a bad cheek weld but you don't have time to mess with it, you're still gonna be able to get a shot because it's near parallax free. Controls are intuitive. They're right there where you need them. I've already talked about that. It's very easy to make adjustments on the optic. And as far as durability goes, well, I had to be realistic about it, obviously, but I wanted to test things. The biggest issue you're going to have with an optic is if you drop it. If you drop it and it makes contact with a hard surface, is it going to damage it? Also, if it gets wet, is that going to be an issue? The Micromax is quoted as being water resistant. Well, I didn't have a pool or a lake or anything at my disposal, but I did have a whole lot of mud. So what I did is I went ahead and just let it sit in the mud for a while. After it sat in the mud for a while, went ahead, took it out, put it right back on target. Everything was fine, maintained zero. Granted, that wasn't a huge drop, and it was into what I consider a pretty soft media. Mud's going to be softer than the wood and the rocks that I dropped it on. The last drop test was the worst. It was onto a solid, small boulder. Made contact with the top lens caps, and that's why I'm missing the front, because it actually broke the aluminum bezel. It broke it straight off, so I can't even put that back on. That is technically broken. However, the optic is still functioning, still works. Everything is still as it should be. I'm able to make adjustments if I need to. Everything's good. But I wanted to see, okay, that was a pretty bad drop. Did it maintain zero? So I went ahead and put up a target and checked the zero. Now, as I showed you, the zero distance was 50 meters. So there was a slight zero shift. However, the optic had been dropped 6 times total. 3 times just on the ground, once in the mud, once on those wood blocks, and then the last drop I did was onto that boulder. Any one of those drops could have caused that slight zero shift. So yeah, there was a noticeable zero shift, but I wouldn't consider that a catastrophic zero shift. I think that in reasonable distances, you still would have been able to get rounds on target. I'm still not happy with the fact that there was a zero shift, but it occurred, it's documented, and it's not that big of a deal, all things considered. Rule number 1, anytime your rifle takes a serious fall like that, you need to check your zero. Don't assume just because it's X brand or Y brand that, oh, these are good to go, the military uses them, I ain't got to worry about it. No, if your rifle takes a dump like that, check your zero just to be sure, because the last thing you want to do is get into a situation where you need that precise accuracy, even at close ranges, and your zero's off, and you know what, some mistakes you can only make once. Final verdict on the Hilux, the Micromax B-Dot. I like it. I think as a budget optic, it's an excellent choice. The only issue I identified, I think the lens cap design is a little dangerous, because when the caps fold up, if you do drop them, that impact's going to basically cause potentially that front cap to shear off, which I think is an issue. And there was that zero shift, of course, but other than that, I don't really have any issues. Being on it, shooting it, I didn't really, sometimes I forgot what I was using. Sometimes I was just imagining the optic that used to be on the gun last time. I didn't see a significant quality issue in the use of the adjustments with this optic to say it's not a good choice. It is inexpensive. Would it be my go-to optic? Maybe not, because I've already got a lot of really good optics. I don't think I'm going to, take them off for no reason and just replace them with this just because I like it. But if I'm looking for a budget optic, if I just can't afford a higher end optic, I think this is an excellent choice. I think that despite the fact that it's made in China, and I know some people hate that term, those 3 words just bug a lot of shooters. I think it's an excellent choice as a budget optic for, if, like I said, if you just can't afford right now that higher end optic. Is it something that I'd put on all my rifles? Probably not, just because I already have, like I said, so many other optics. But if I'm in the market for something on a new build and I just don't have the money to get a bigger optic, or maybe even considering the fact like maybe I don't need that higher end optic, maybe this is all I need for that particular rifle, I think the Micromax B-Dot is an excellent choice. I'm Aaron Count with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.